A popular mid-August stop on the confirmation circuit is here in the Tar Heel State. It's 4 days of all-breed shows from the Greensboro Complex in Greensboro, North Carolina. Founded in 1938, the Carolina Kennel Club is the oldest kennel club in North Carolina. Today, it is host to the Carolina Kennel Club All-Breed Show. Hi, everyone. Alongside Bill Ellis, I'm Callie O'Donnell. Nearly 1,500 show dogs were entered today. That includes River, the Gordon Setter, the #1 dog in the country. River was reserve best in show Thursday, best in show yesterday. And Bill, as we begin our march toward best in show, we will begin with the breed winners from the sporting group.
Yeah, Kelly, these are the sporting dogs coming in now, all the best of breed winners that were judged earlier and get to advance to the group judging here. These are the breeds that we sometimes refer to as gun dogs. They were bred to hunt feathered game. A lot of familiar breeds throughout this group. And there's our judge, Norbert D., an Irish setter breeder himself. Going to have an initial walk down the line here and get acquainted with the breed winners that he'll get to judge in the sporting group. And you can think about these sporting breeds in a few different categories. We have pointers and setters, and those are the breeds that mark the game for the hunter. Spaniels go and flush out the game for the hunter. And of course, retrievers go and get it and bring it back. And so many breeds in this sporting group that are versatile athletes that do a number of different jobs when they're working alongside the hunter. And they were bred to work closely in most scenarios with the hunter, Kelly, as opposed to working independently like some of the other hound breeds that we'll see later this afternoon. And so because they were bred to work closely with their owners, it has led to them being very popular companion breeds in some instances. But we're going to start things off here with the wire-haired Vizsla. Probably more familiar with the smooth-coated Vizsla or just the Vizsla, but the wire-haired Vizsla is a little bit larger and, of course, has that wiry, textured coat that helps protect them when they're out hunting. They were developed in Hungary back in the 20th century to create a more weather-resistant hunting dog to work in that kind of more harsh climate and rougher terrain.
And this is the dog that has been the gold standard of the breed over the past year plus, was best of breed at the AKC National Championship back in December, then repeated that feat at Westminster earlier this year. It's Deacon, who is from Anderson, South Carolina.
And you mentioned the Gordon Setter earlier, Kelly. This is River, the Gordon Setter, the country's top-ranked dog. And the Gordon Setter is the largest of the setter breeds, heaviest boned, because they had to, once again, work in the most challenging terrain. They had to hunt over the bogs. But River, Kelly, has had just an amazing career and year so far.
Yeah, I mean, over 100 group wins, more than 60 best in show titles just this year, more than 70 best in shows in the career of River. And as we mentioned, picked up another one yesterday here in Greensboro.
And our first retriever of the day is the curly-coated retriever, covered in that curly coat, very tight curls that cover almost all of the curly-coated retriever. And once again, that curly textured coat really helped this breed hunt throughout some different, more challenging condition, kind of made them sort of weatherproof, if you will. But they're one of the oldest retrieving breeds as well, Kelly.
And this is the best curly-coated retriever to ever do it in a show ring. This is Raisin. Now, Raisin had broke a 20-year record for best in show titles within the breed, has now gone on to triple the previous mark, and currently ranked as the #3 sporting dog in the country.
And here is the gray ghost of the sporting group, the Weimaraner. Have that very recognizable silvery mouse gray coat that this breed is known for. But this is one of the very versatile hunting breeds in this group. They were originally known as the Weimar Pointer, So they're excellent pointers, but they are really bred to just do about anything in the field. They're so athletic. They should be noble. Really a favorite among hunters for that versatility.
Yeah, the ancestry of the Weimaraner includes a combination of both bloodhound and also German hunting dogs, such as the German short-haired pointer.
And here is the German short-haired pointer, Kelly. Another very versatile sporting breed. They are so energetic, so athletic, really ready to do just about anything that the hunter asks of them out in the field. So when you are looking for a breed that's ready to do just about anything, hunting or as a companion, this is an amazing breed.
This German short-haired pointer finished Group 3 each of the past 2 days here in Greensboro. In fact, 1, 2, 3 was identical Thursday and Friday. The Gordon setter, of course, on top, that was River. And then we also saw Group 2 already, the curly-coated retriever Raisin, runner-up to River each of the past 2 days.
The Chesapeake Bay Retriever here was bred to work in the very, very cold, icy waters of the Chesapeake Bay. And so they have a coat that's very dense, but also somewhat oily in texture, helped them be able to work in that very cold water. And they're also very strong and robustly built, very muscular among the retrieving breeds, because there were times they kind of had to break through that ice to be able to work in that very cold water, Kelly.
Luke will find a great deal of cold water in Lake Elmo, Minnesota, which is where this 5-year-old Chesapeake Bay Retriever makes his home, along with Kelly Williams, who you see in the ring with Luke.
Next up, of course, the very recognizable Golden Retriever. Such a popular companion breed. They love to be with their families and their people. As hunters, they're excellent retrievers. They're known for that soft mouth, meaning that they would be able to go and retrieve the game and bring it back without damaging or puncturing the bird. So they have that very soft mouth. They worked closely with the hunter, which also is one of the reasons why this breed loves to be with their families, and they're just so trainable. They want to do the right thing, so they respond very well to training. Such popular companions, Kelly.
Yeah, the third most popular dog in the country by AKC registration. This is Tristan, 4 years old, from Shepherdstown, West Virginia. A winner of 6 Golden Retriever specialties.
The Barocco Italiano here is one of the oldest European pointing breeds. We know that they date back to at least the 4th or 5th century BC. And if you get a good look at the head of the Barocco Italiano, you'll notice they have a very distinctive sculpted head. They should have pendulous ears, powerfully built. They're also known for this very efficient movement. They have this long, extended trot, so they cover a lot of ground per stride, and designed very deliberately so that they could conserve energy, because they had to work over large fields, and they would switch to a gallop when they caught the scent of the game, Kelly.
It's interesting that you mention gallop, Bill, and here's why. So this is the fastest Barocco Italiano in breed history in the sport of fast cat, and perhaps that was destiny when you consider this is Julep. The registered name comes from Run for the Roses, And of course, that is a reference to the Kentucky Derby and the mint julep. And Bill, you were there this year. Did you have any mint juleps?
I was at the Kentucky Derby. I grew up with horses, but it was my first trip to the Kentucky Derby, and I consumed my fair share of
There you
mint
go. Good.
juleps. You know, they're very readily available too, so it's not like they're hard to find at the
That's right.
Derby. Here is the very happy Labrador Retriever. You know, we talk about the traits of the Labrador Retriever in terms of judging them, Kelly. They should have that beautiful broad head, that dense double coat, that tail that's kind of like an otter shape, but it's really their temperament and their personality and that constantly wagging tail that I think is number one for this breed.
All the way from Saugerties, New York, this is Oliver, 4 years old.
I love what they tell us about the Labrador Retriever. 2 times a year that they shed, from January 1st to June 30th and July 1st to December 31st.
Just twice.
Which is a very, very true statement.
Yeah.
You get to love your vacuum when you have a Labrador Retriever. But here's the wire-haired pointing Griffon, medium-sized sporting breed. You can see Norbert D really checking the coat on the wire-haired pointing Griffon because it's really one of the most distinctive qualities of this breed. They are covered in that rough, shaggy coat. And once again, that coat really helped protect them when they were out hunting. They would have to work in very thick, wooded conditions. So that coat really provided some protection. They also have strong noses that helped them when they were out hunting. Really versatile, known for being supreme gun dogs. One of the breeds that we see in the show ring that also competes in field trials and hunt tests, and very common for those wire-haired pointing Griffons to have titles in those disciplines as well.
A breed that was developed in the 19th century by a Dutch banking heir, inspired by his work managing a large kennel of hunting dogs in Germany.
And here is the pointer. The pointer gets their name for the way that they stop and freeze and point to mark the game for the hunter. They should be very noble and athletic in appearance. Another sporting breed that has extraordinary scenting abilities. And when they do find that game, they, instinctively will freeze in place with that bee-sting tail, really indicate to the pointer where that game is, Kelly.
And Scarlett is just 12 months old today. She was able to win the breed from the classes for her third major, and a best in sweepstakes also on the resume at the Pointer National Specialty.
Oh, wow. She's had a lot of memorable wins already including today, of course. And here is another one of the setter breeds, this time the English setter. And the English setter was bred to hunt in much more open terrain than, say, the Gordon setter, who we saw earlier. They're one of the oldest gun dog breeds. They have that kind of speckled coat. There's a great look at it there. Always white with some sort of marking that we call Belton. This would be an orange Belton. They come in a few different colors. And when the setters would work in the field, they worked in a sort of a sweeping trot. So they would what we call quarter the field, using their noses to help detect the scent from a distance. And then when they would locate the birds, they would freeze and set. So they would get lower than the pointer who we just saw a moment ago, and that would allow the hunter to approach from behind and before guns were used, throw a net over the setter to capture the bird.
The English setter, one of the 9 original charter breeds recognized by the American Kennel Club in 1878.
And here is a look at the German wire-haired pointer. More ruggedly built than the German short-haired pointer. The German wire-haired pointer was developed in Germany to be a rugged all-weather hunting dog. They have that harsh, wiry coat, a little larger, a little heavier boned than the short-haired pointer cousin, Kelly.
Yeah, we already got to meet Scarlet the pointer, who's only 12 months old. And this is Wicked, just 9.5 months old. She's from St. James City, Florida, just beginning her show career.
And another Italian sporting breed. Here's the Spinone Italiano. Another older sporting breed. They're one of the oldest pointing breeds. Very ruggedly built, larger bone, wiry coat, and a very thick skin. They had to hunt in very dense brush, marshlands, be able to go through steep terrain. And so they work at this very steady trot, very reliable in the field. Once again, they have exceptional noses to help locate the birds. And any country music fan out there, Kelly, will appreciate the name of this Spinone Italiano.
This is Waylon from Won't You Pardon Me, the registered name of this 2-year-old from Charleston, South Carolina. Won his first major at the Spinone Nationals last year.
I only know one Waylon, and that's Waylon Jennings, the country singer. So if there's other references out there, they would be new to me. Next up is the Brittany. This is a more medium-sized sporting breed named for the Brittany region of France where the breed was developed. They're compact, agile, known for their great speed and endurance. Rubble here is 4 years old. I love this, Kelly. Both of his grandfathers are past national specialty winners.
Wow.
And another one of the medium-sized sporting breeds is the English Springer Spaniel. One of the oldest of the British sporting breeds. They should have a very energetic, merry temperament. They were bred as a flushing spaniel. Their job was to spring the game from the cover so that it could be either netted or shot. And then they also were expected to go and retrieve it afterwards. So they have great enthusiasm, great stamina when they're out working in the field.
The English Springer Spaniel is either going to be shown in black and white, as we see here, or liver and white. And it can be with or without tan points.
And they work in a sweeping pattern, like I mentioned, with the English setter, where they quarter the fields. The Springer Spaniel does maintain a very close contact with their handler, one of the sporting breeds that works very closely with their handler or their owners out in the field. And next up is the Lagotto Romagnolo, our third Italian breed in the sporting group, an ancient Italian water retriever. They originally worked in the marshlands of Romagna, and then the marshlands were eventually drained, and the Lagotto transitioned into into a different specialty, truffle hunting, and they are known as the world's premier truffle dog. So, of course, they have exceptional sense of smell and a sort of innate digging ability to locate the truffles underground, Kelly.
And this is Queen of Rock and Roll. That's the registered name for Tina, 3 years old, from St. Augustine, Florida.
Well, we do love a good theme between a registered name and a call name, and I can't think of a better call name for the Queen of Rock and Roll.
Of course.
And we'll continue to kind of work our way here with some of the smaller spaniel breeds. This is the Boykin Spaniel, and the Boykin Spaniel was developed exclusively here in this country, in the state of South Carolina, back in the early 1900s. The Boykin Spaniel was created to be the ideal compact hunting dog for the small boats that they used in the swampy river region in South Carolina, Kelly.
And this is the first Grand Champion Gold in Boykin Spaniel breed history. It is Ty, who is 6 years old and has been at the top of the breed for several years. That includes taking breed at Morrison, Essex, back in 2025.
And now we'll meet a few Cocker Spaniels. The Cocker Spaniels are the smallest of the sporting breeds, and they're shown in 3 different varieties based on their color. They're all exactly the same breed, but they're shown separately depending on their color. So obviously this is the black Cocker Spaniel, and this variety can be solid black like we see here, or black with tan points. And they are the smallest sporting breed, like I mentioned, but they are still ferocious little workers. They were originally used for hunting woodcock and other upland birds. And as companions, they're really known for this cheerful, affectionate temperament. Another sporting breed that historically worked very close to the hunter. They would flush the birds from the cover and then also help retrieve them and bring them back gently.
Cockers have been popular hunting dogs in the U.S. since the 1700s. And another one of the original 9 charter breeds of the American Kennel Club. All of them sporting and hunting dogs.
And here is the party color Cocker Spaniel. So exactly the same breed that we saw a moment ago, just shown in this separate variety. The only difference is the color. And the party color variety is white in combination with any of the other solid colors. Here we have a black and white party color. And the American Cocker Spaniel was developed from what we call in this country the English Cocker Spaniel, bred to be a slightly smaller size and have a very different head. The American Cocker Spaniel has a much more dome-shaped head when compared to the English Cocker Spaniel.
At this show in Greensboro, we're going to see a lot of dogs and families from the south and eastern seaboard, but this is a big show and it's going to attract conformation talent from around the country, including Gosling, who's from Portland, Oregon, 2 years old, with Stacy Domeyer.
And here is the Nederlandse Quaker Hunja, or Quaker for short. Don't want too many people having to say Nederlandse Quaker Hunja throughout the day too many times, so we like to call them Quakers. This is a Dutch breed, very spaniel-like in their type, developed back in the 16th century to assist in duck hunting using duck decoys. They always have this orange and white coat with the black tipping that you see on their ears there. And Quakers would help lure the ducks into these man-made decoy traps by trotting and darting and kind of waving their tails in a way that attracted the bird's curiosity. And once close enough, the hunter would then be able to trigger the trap of the decoy to trap the duck.
Quakers can be seen in several 17th century paintings by Dutch masters. The breed officially was recognized in its homeland in 1971, then here in the U.S. within the past decade.
And the spaniel that Norbert D is going over now is the Clumber Spaniel. We believe that the Clumber Spaniel was developed in France before they gained their popularity in England. They are known for this substantial build. They're low set, heavy bone, thick skin, have a very thoughtful demeanor. They're very steady workers. Once again, they have very strong noses, but they move at a much more slower, deliberate trot, Kelly, so the hunters could follow them easily.
Clumber breeders in France relocated the dogs to Clumber Park in Britain, which became the source of the breed's name.
And our final competitor in the sporting group is the Sussex Spaniel. Another spaniel that gets their name for the town in England, this time the Sussex, England. A Flushing Spaniel. They always have this golden liver-colored coat. And they were bred for hunting in very heavy colors. So once again, they're very steady workers, but they have this very deep, melodious bay that they will make, unusual for a spaniel, Kelly. And that sound that they would make would help alert the hunter to their location when they were in that dense brush.
And our final dog of the sporting group was Frankie, 3 years old from Raleigh, North Carolina. Tracy Ann Perry telling us Frankie would rather be laying on the couch sleeping than doing anything else.
Like so many dogs.
Yes.
Love to be on the couch. So Norbert D has had a chance to go over all these dogs, and should mention also this is day 3 of 4 days of shows here. So these judges, it's quite likely, have judged a number of these breeds, not only today, but over the course of the 3 days. So likely that they are very familiar with these breed winners at this point. As he walks back toward the front of the line, having another look at everybody, and we'll see if he has a winner in mind or if he wants to pull out some favorites.
And we'll see if the top 3 are the same as the past 2 days. The Gordon, followed by the curly-coated retriever, and the German short-hair pointer.
And he's pulling out the Gordon Setter River here, asking her to go stand by the number 1 marker there.
Seems like a good clue.
Pulling out the German short-haired pointer next. The Labrador Retriever is going to join them in the 3rd position. And the Brittany in there for 4th. So the Gordon Setter are going to move on to Best in Show. Again, of course, the country's number 1 dog. Hasn't lost many sporting groups so far this year. We'll see if River can add to his Best in Show record. We're going to step away here for a very short break and get the little toy dogs ready to go on the other side. We're going to be right back. Do 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 do
Welcome back to Greensboro, North Carolina, 90 miles northeast of Charlotte, inside the Greensboro Complex. 8 different venues here, opened in 1959. Home to the UNC Greensboro Spartans men's basketball program. The ACC men's and women's basketball tournament, often held here at this venue. It's site of the Carolina Kennel Club All Breed Show today. We just crowned River another Group 1, the number 1 dog in the country. Will have a chance to defend a Best in Show title earned yesterday. But next we will figure out which dog will represent the toy group at Best in Show.
And these are our smallest competitors that we are going to see all day, Kelly. But they are big on personality, as we well know. These toy dogs were bred primarily for their companionship. They were cherished lap dogs, favorites of royal courts throughout history, and just general household companions. They originated in various parts of the world, and they were selectively bred for charm, beauty, and, of course, that portable size. Mm-hmm. Our judge for the toy group is Benson Ray, originally a Pomeranian breeder, as well as having a few other toy breeds. The Affin Pinscher so far has dominated the toy group at these shows, has won the toy group both of the previous 2 days. So we'll see if that continues or if somebody else advances from the toy group today. And we'll get started here with the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. A very popular companion breed, not only in their native England, but in this country as well. Named after the 17th century knights who were loyal to King Charles, both the first and second King Charles. Cavaliers were only owned by families of the court at various points in history, known for their very friendly, gentle disposition. They should have large, soulful eyes, a tail that's always wagging, and they bond very, very strongly with their owners and their families. So they crave that companionship and that attention, love to be the center of attention.
Very sociable, very adaptable. As you mentioned, just want to please. And their excellent trainability makes them naturals at dog sports.
And here is the pug, who is the largest of these small toy breeds, Kelly. An ancient breed, but for this small package, there is a lot of dog there.
Yes, there is. And this is the #1 pug in the country. In fact, the only pug to win an all-breed best in show this year. And Rip has done it 5 times. 3 years old from Rainsville, Alabama.
And here is a look at the Chinese crested, a hairless toy breed. They do come in a what we call a powder puff variety, where they're covered completely in with this beautiful coat, but really also known for being a hairless toy breed, like we see here, Kelly, where they are completely hairless except for the puff of hair on the top of their head, tail, and feet.
The Chinese crested is responsible for the largest entry of the day. 59 were shown in the breed ring, and it was Simba. Can't wait to be king. Bested them all. 2 years old from Reddick, Florida, but just recently came back after showing in Sweden.
Very international. Here is a look at the Japanese chin. So in Japan, we have Inu, which is a term for dog, and then chin, which means royalty. So you can see how this breed was thought of in Japan, really thought of as being royalty. And I think that the actual Japanese chin deem themselves to be quite royal as well. They're aristocratic, have that kind of independent but very affectionate personality.
Eddie is 4 years old from nearby Charlotte, North Carolina, the winner of the most recent Japanese Chin Club National.
The Yorkshire Terrier up next is the most popular toy breed in terms of AKC registration, and that coat is so recognizable, Kelly. It should be very, very silky in texture. You see these owners and handlers constantly brushing it, making sure that it's perfect in the show ring. So beautiful to look at, but not only is that silky texture very important, so is the color. Always this steel blue with those rich tan points as well.
The
Originally,
red bow is very recognizable as well.
It's very true. Yeah, always tied up there with that red bow. Originally, they worked as little ratters in the clothing mills in Yorkshire, England, so they are pretty tough for their little toy size.
The breed arrived in the U.S. in the late 1800s and was actually shown at the first Westminster show in 1877.
And here is the English Toy Spaniel. This is one of those breeds that's shown in a couple of varieties based on their different color. This is the ruby color, where they're that solid red color, Kelly.
And this is Rudolph, 2 years old, from Summerfield, Florida. Shown to us today by Samantha Stafford. Won his first 2 groups 3 weeks ago. Samantha telling us he sleeps in bed, enjoys chicken, and playing with his best friend, a Dalmatian.
Oh, I am sure they are quite the pair. Here is a look at the Russian toy. The Russian toy, of course, is a small toy breed, as are all these toy breeds, but they are light in bone, developed in Russia to be a active, cheerful companion. Date back to the Russian aristocracy, where this breed was a popular companion among the aristocracy and the nobility in Russia.
Judd is only a year and a half old, from Wood River, Nebraska. One breed at Morrison, Essex last year. Amy Harsh telling us of the breed, they are delightful to be around. They love their human and are eager to try anything you put in front of them.
Well, Judd is certainly having a good time out there. Here is the Havanese. This is another fun-loving toy breed that is full of charm. This breed most likely originated in the Mediterranean, made their way through a few other countries, and then settled in their permanent home of Cuba. So they are known as the national dog of Cuba. They are charming, social extroverts. This breed really has never met a stranger and doesn't ever seem to have a bad day, Kelly. We have a Havanese. My parents have a Havanese, and I will say I think that he could charm just about anybody. Any cat lover could be charmed by that Havanese.
The breed actually neared extinction in Cuba in the 1950s as people and their dogs left the country during the Cuban Revolution. But a few dogs that ended up in the U.S. were used to establish breeding programs and the revival.
Here's a look at the Affin Pinscher, group winner the last 2 days, right here in Greensboro as well. The Affin Pinscher is one of the smaller Terrier type toy dogs that actually moved from the barn into the house. They originally served as ratters out in the barns and stables, and you can see here why. They're tough, tenacious little toy dogs. So they've got some of those little Terrier traits. Also known as the monkey dog, because if you get a look at their head and expression and face, they sort of have this monkey-like appearance.
That's right.
And here is a look at the Italian Greyhound, really a small miniaturized version of the larger sight hounds. So they are kind of delicate in appearance because they're smaller, but they are very athletic and amazing little sprinters like their larger sight hound cousins, Kelly.
Splash is only 8 months old, and already in just a couple of months is making a splash. Won the breed from the classes today and has been undefeated in the classes in his first week out.
And the Brussels Griffon here, of course, originated in Belgium. Like the Affin Pinscher, the breed originally was kept in the stables as ratters and then kind of gradually became regular members of the household, kind of charmed their way into the house. And they come in 2 different coat types, Kelly. They come in a rough coat and a smooth coat like we see here.
So, Bill, you just mentioned a few minutes ago that the Affin Pinscher has taken the group each of the past 2 days. The Brussels Griffon has gone group 2 each of the past 2 days, but a different Brussels Griffon. So this is Twinkle, who won the breed and went on to finish group 2 on Thursday. Different Brussels Griffon won yesterday. Twinkle back representing the breed today.
Oh, it's a new day every day at the dog show. You start
Yep.
fresh, and that's why we all show up and show our dogs. Here is the toy Manchester Terrier. Got a larger standard size Manchester Terrier that is shown in the Terrier group, but the smaller toy variety is shown here in the toy group. They are amazing little rat hunters, sleek, athletic, very wonderful, quiet companions when they're not chasing after the rats, Kelly.
Or the chickens in the case of Hazel. Hazel is 6 years old from Dade City, Florida, and Emma Lloyd telling us that Hazel can herd chickens.
Oh,
Fun fact.
I'm sure she can. And kind of a similar story, we have the larger standard and miniature size poodles that are shown in the non-sporting group, but of course the smaller toy variety of the poodle is shown here in the toy group. They are always 10 inches or under, but otherwise they're identical to the larger poodles that we see in the non-sporting group, but just bred down to be this small, compact size as a companion breed.
And that is Fred, 3 years old from North Carolina with Abigail Johnson.
Here is the Papillon. So recognizable with those large butterfly-like ears. Of course, that is how the breed gets its name, Papillon, which means French in butterfly. And if you're ever at a dog show where there is an agility trial, I would encourage you to go watch Papillons compete because they are a dominant force in that sport. Though don't let that small size fool you. This breed is so athletic, so trainable. They're amazing, Kelly.
Yes, they are. And this is an amazing Papillon. This is Jax, who is 5 years old from Franklin, North Carolina, shown to us by owner handler Joy Carpenter. Jax is a multiple toy group winner and has over 100 best of breed wins.
The king of toys is up next, the miniature pincher. We often refer to this little breed as the king of the toy group. And, I always feel like I talk about the big personality of these toy dogs and how they just don't have any awareness of their small size. And the miniature pincher is really the example of that. This little breed is tough and tenacious and ready to go nose to nose with any other big dog that they find, Kelly.
Peppa is only 9 months old, has already finished her championship, shown by breeder owner handler Armando Angelbeo. And he tells us that Peppa's favorite person is his 5-year-old grandson, Kenny, who named her Peppa after the cartoon Peppa Pig.
Even I know about Peppa Pig, and I don't have kids, so that just goes to show you the power of
Yeah.
the power of Peppa the Pig. Here is the Pomeranian, a Spitz type breed, which means that they have a few characteristics that comprise the Spitz type breeds: dense double coat, small prick ears, tail curled over the back, foxy-like expression. The ancestors of the Pomeranian were much larger than the small toy breed that we have now. This small breed descended from sled dogs of Iceland and Lapland, as well as German breeds that were used as sort of all-around farm dogs, and then they were bred down smaller and smaller to be this compact little toy size. They are known for that lively, spirited personality, and of course that dense coat. They come in any color. Very distinct, recognizable breed.
The breed had been known in Britain for a while, almost a century in fact, but remained very obscure until Queen Victoria acquired a Pom named Marco during a trip to Italy, and of course that sparked tremendous interest in the breed.
Here is the Beaver Terrier. The Beaver Terrier descends from the Yorkshire Terrier. But the Beaver Terrier is always this tricolor pattern, white, blue, and tan. We talk so much about the history of these breeds, in many cases how long they've been around as distinct breeds. The Beaver Terrier, in terms of history, is a more newly developed breed, developed in the last century.
Lucy is only 18 months old, won a Beaver Terrier National Supported Specialty last month.
And our smallest breed that we are going to meet all day is, of course, the Chihuahua. Never larger than 6 pounds. Shown in 2 different varieties. This time the varieties are separated by their different coat types. So the smooth coat here has that short, smooth, flat-fitting coat, Kelly. And a good look at that kind of apple-domed shaped head that's so distinctive of this breed.
And this is Cuss from Pardon My French in the registered name. He is 3 years old from High Point, North Carolina. A Best in Show winner and grandson of the top winning Chihuahua in the history of the breed. Four different smooth coat Chihuahuas have won a Best in Show already this year, so a lot of competition in that breed.
Love that. Love that there's been so much success. And here is the long coat Chihuahua. Exactly the same breed as the smooth coat Chihuahua that we saw just a moment ago. The only difference is the longer coat here on the long coat Chihuahua.
This is Junior, who was originally from Rio de Janeiro. A Best in Show winner and the #1 long coat Chihuahua in the country.
Next up is the Toy Fox Terrier, a toy breed that was developed right here in this country, an all-American breed. And they truly combine the traits of a toy dog and a terrier as well. They're this small package, but they're very balanced and very athletic for their size. They should really have a graceful look. They are energetic and agile.
Named for David Bowie, this is Bowie from Lynchburg, Virginia, 3 years old, in the ring with Stacy Zimmerman. Bowie has a big personality, much bigger than his diminutive size.
And our final toy dog is the Pekingese. Almost always the last toy dog in line. The Pekingese moves at a slower, rolling gait. This is an ancient breed that was highly, highly regarded in their native China. They were bred in the imperial kennels and held sacred in that country. Of course, they're covered in that long, flowing coat, but underneath all that coat, Kelly, they're quite robustly built, and they're much broader in front than behind, sort of pear-shaped if you were to look down on them underneath all of that coat.
Meet Labubu, just a year old from Hot River, North Carolina. Does have a group win already in her young career out there with Jesse Border.
Gonna pull out some of the toy dogs here and make a short list. Or no, going right to the winner. Forgive me, the pug there. Going right to first place, followed by the Chinese crested in there for second, the Affin Pinscher in there for third, and the Pekingese in there for fourth. So the pug going to advance to best in show. 2 groups down, 5 more to go on our way to best in show. We're going to step aside for a break here, and when we come back, we will have the hounds ready to go. We'll be right back.
Do 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 do.
Welcome back to the Carolina Kennel Club All Breed Show. Kelly O'Donnell and Bill Ellis with you. 2 dogs have already qualified for Best in Show. It was River, the Gordon setter, coming out of the sporting group. That's no surprise. River is the #1 dog in the country. And just a few moments ago, Rip the Pug, the 7th ranked toy dog in the U.S., won the toy group to advance to best in show. And now, Bill, we have the Hounds.
Yeah, Kelly, here come the Hound breed winners, judged earlier today, advancing to the Hound group. These breeds were developed over centuries, and they were developed to hunt game of all different sizes, from rabbits and foxes to deer, even larger game. They generally work by either scent or sight. Scent hounds, of course, have incredible olfactory systems that they use, and sight hounds use their keen vision when they are out on the hunt. They do work across different terrain, going different distances. Norbert D is back to judge the Hound group. We saw him judge the sporting group to kick off the afternoon, and now he will get a chance to judge the Hound group. These Hound breeds have strong prey drive, incredible stamina. They are independent workers. And those instincts will definitely take over when they think there's something that they need to go after. They are going to do it. So these are breeds that do quite well in a fenced yard or on a leash.
Absolutely. And from owning an Afghan Hound, I can tell you that's certainly true with our Furtown dog.
Oh. And I didn't
Many
know
times
that.
Hannah
Kelly,
got
you've been
loose and I
holding
was-
out.
Yeah, well, it was when I was younger and through high school, and many times that Hannah would get loose and I'd be chasing her all through the neighborhood.
Well, then, you know this breed is built for speed, an ancient sight hound from Afghanistan. They have prominent hip bones, large feet that help them hunt in Afghanistan, but incredible sprinters, Kelly.
Yes, they are. This is Tommy, 3 years old, from Wellington, Florida, with breeder owner handler Anna Stromberg. Tommy is the number 2 Afghan in the country.
The Borzoi is another ancient sight hound, this time from Russia. And the Borzoi I find interesting because these hound breeds were really developed and bred to go and kill the game and bring it back to be able to put dinner on the table, right?
Oh.
The Borzoi was actually used in Russia in these more ritual, elaborate hunts where they would go out and they would hunt in large groups alongside the hunters who were on horseback, and they would go after the wolves and pin the wolves down and hold them there until the huntsman arrived, but then the wolves would be let go. So a very different kind of hunting style than some of the other hound breeds, Kelly.
That is Smoke, 4 years old, from Maryland, with Mary Morgan Broyles. Smoke is a very spicy girl, we're told, who loves to show.
The Scottish Deerhound up next. Another one of the large sight hounds, bred specifically to pursue and bring down the large red deer in Scotland. They had to work in the rough, hilly terrain and throughout some harsh weather, so they're covered in this rough, wiry, textured coat that helped protect them against the cold and the wind and the brush that they had to hunt through as well. And at one point, they were really restricted to the nobility. If you weren't part of the nobility, you couldn't own a Scottish Deerhound. And they're ferocious hunters, but as companions, they're wonderful, quiet, calm house dogs, Kelly.
Yeah. Sky loves to run Fast Cat, currently ranked as the number 1 Scottish Deerhound in the Fast Cat rankings for the breed. Also in the show ring, once the paperwork is filed, Sky has earned enough points as of this show to earn her Grand Championship designation.
Oh, there's a beautiful look at the American Foxhound. Georgia Washington gets a lot of credit with this breed. He kept packs of hounds at his Mount Vernon estate, and it's really credited with helping to develop and refine this breed in this country. They were developed from the hounds that came from England, but adapted to suit the needs of the American hunting style, Kelly. And this is one of the top ranked hounds in the country.
Yeah, this is George. Already 6 best in show wins this year. George is not only the #1 American foxhound, but the 2nd ranked hound dog in the U.S., behind only a 13-inch beagle. Breed winner at Westminster this year. Hound Group winner at Morrison Essex last year.
The very powerful, strongly built Rhodesian Ridgeback is up next. Developed in southern Africa. This is a versatile hunting dog, known for that ridge of hair that grows along their back in the opposite direction of the rest of the coat. The Ridgeback was bred to track and hold large game, so they're often referred to as the lion hunter, and they would track lions and other large game, but then they would circle and harass the animal and kind of keep them occupied until the hunter could arrive. So they didn't actually kill the lion. They sort of more acted as a matador until the hunter could get there, Kelly.
Yeah, this is Koa, 4 years old, from Miami. The top Ridgeback in the country last year.
And the Greyhound is really, I think, what most people envision in their mind when we talk about sight hounds and their sprinting ability. This is the fastest of all the breeds. They're known for their incredible speed and that sort of streamlined form. They're one of the oldest known dog breeds as well. Bred to pursue hare, deer, and other swift game, but they can get up to speeds of 40 miles an hour. So they are just incredible when they are at a full sprint.
Yeah. Braxton Hernandez is showing us Nigel, 2 years old, from Bahama, North Carolina. Nigel is described as a big goofball who loves to play with flower pots. Okay. And his favorite food, tacos.
As is the case for so many.
Right. I'm assuming Taco Tuesday is a big deal in Nigel's house.
Here's another very large, powerfully built sighthound, the Irish Wolfhound, similar to the Scottish Deerhound. You know, these Irish Wolfhound is an incredibly athletic, ferocious hunter, but as a companion, they are quiet, calm, wonderful house dogs. The sighthounds, you know, when they can get out for a sprint and a run as needed, they are very content to lie on something soft the rest of the time.
Kylie loves her bones so much that she falls asleep with a bone in her mouth. That's from Daryl Meeks, Kylie's handler last year. This team finished top 10 in the National Owner Handled Series.
Here is a look at the English foxhound. So if you think back to the American foxhound that we saw a few moments ago, you'll really notice the differences between these breeds. The English foxhound, much heavier boned, should have a perfectly straight top line, different shape and look to their head. The English foxhound hunted in packs. They were generally, the packs were generally kept on large English estates, and the hunters would follow them on horseback in the sort of classic English fox hunt.
Harry is from Austin, Florida, with Kelly Williams. This is his very first dog show, 18 months old.
Oh, there's a lovely look at the Ibethan Hound. You can really see those large ears, often described as kind of having a deer-like look. This is a very nimble sight hound that was developed on the island of Ibiza, bred to hunt rabbits over rocky, sparse terrain. So they use this incredible agile jumping ability when they are out on the hunt. They would work in packs using both sight and their incredible sense of hearing, Kelly.
This is Hattie from Huntsville, Alabama. Hattie won her first specialty earlier this year at the Beezer Bash. So the Beezer Bash is an annual event, a coursing and sight hound event hosted by the Ibethan Hound Club of the U.S. It was in Cedar Falls, Iowa this year.
The blue tick coonhound here is an American scent hound. There are a number of different scent hounds that were developed to hunt a raccoon in this country. The blue tick gets their name because they have this distinctive blue speckled coat. On the hunt, they're very steady, determined workers. They're very vocal, excellent night hunters. They were bred to trail and then tree the raccoon. And they're one of the hound breeds that's known for having a cold nose, and what that means is they are able to follow older, colder scents and trail them.
And unlike in other coonhound breeds, many traits of the French hound ancestry were preserved in the blue tick coonhounds.
And here is the Harrier. The Harrier is essentially a smaller version of the English foxhound, size-wise between the English foxhound and the beagle, medium size. And Harriers were often owned individually. So as opposed to the English foxhound being kept in packs on those large estates, Harriers would often be owned just by one person. One person would own one Harrier, and then owners would come together to form a pack and go out and hunt, Kelly.
Yeah, and this is Holmes, 4 years old, from Ocala, Florida. Multiple group wins for Holmes. Renee Rosamila, the handler.
The red bone coonhound is up next here. Another one of those coonhound breeds that really worked in this country to trail and tree raccoon. And of course, for literature fans, if you had to read Where the Red Fern Grows, the red bone coonhound is featured in that book.
Sassy is just a year old, from Whitewell, Tennessee, with Alan Little. My good friend just got a golden retriever puppy for his family, and they named it Sassy.
Oh, it's a good name.
Yeah.
As long as they do have a little bit of sass.
And I'm sure I'll meet her next week, and I've been told she's got plenty of sass.
The Whippet is a medium-sized sight hound. Kind of resemble a smaller version of the Greyhound, but this is a distinct breed. They are sleek and fast as companions. They're very gentle, quiet, wonderful house dogs. Used for racing in England in both straight lines and circular tracks, as well as coursing for rabbits in more open fields. And for their size, this medium size category, they are definitely the fastest breed.
Yeah. Established in northern Britain, the Whippet was also known in its early days as the snap dog or rag dog, once referred to as greyhound in miniature or the poor man's greyhound. And early Whippets were occasionally crossed with terriers to add more tenacity.
The Cerneco del Etna is a breed native to Italy, specifically the island of Sicily. Very slender in build. They were built for agility and for great endurance. They were bred to hunt rabbits in the very hot, rocky terrain around the base and the slopes of Mount Etna in Sicily. They should have those distinctive erect ears and an alert expression. They hunt very quietly and have that great agility, like I mentioned, to navigate that terrain.
This 5-year-old from Valdosta, Georgia, competed at the World Dog Show in Italy this year and was reserve. Currently ranked number 4 in the breed.
And next up, we're going to get to meet the Basse Fauve de Bretagne, newly recognized this year, actually fully recognized, and made them eligible to compete in the Hound group. This little shaggy French hound originated in the Brittany region of France. Once used to pursue hare, rabbit, and fox over dense underbrush and rugged terrain, Kelly. They're always that solid, kind of rich red color.
Yep. One of 3 new breeds recognized by the American Kennel Club as of January 1 of this year, which brings the total number of AKC recognized breeds to 205.
We've got our beagles up next. 2 beagles that are shown in 2 different varieties based on their size, in this case their height. The first one is the larger of the 2 beagles. We refer to them as the 15-inch beagle. They're 13 to 15 inches tall. Otherwise, the 2 beagles we're going to see are exactly the same breed. A scent hound breed. They have very powerful noses, but they're this small, compact size so that the hunter could follow them on foot.
This is Issa, the number 1 hound dog in the country. And this beagle was Group 2 on Thursday, but then won the hound group yesterday, flip-flopping with the American foxhound, George, the 2nd-ranked hound dog in the country, who we met a little while ago. So it was George that went 1 and Issa 2 on Thursday, and then the other way around yesterday. We'll see if it's these 2 at the top of the hound group again today in just a few minutes.
And here is the smaller beagle. We call them the 13-inch beagle or sometimes the little beagle. And this variety is always 13 inches or under when they're measured at their shoulder. Otherwise, the 2 breeds are exactly the same. Beagles very often have the white tips that we see on both of these beagles' tails so that the hunter could spot them easily when they were out hunting in a more dense cover.
Grace is just about to turn 2 years old, from Cleveland, Tennessee. Currently the number 2 13-inch beagle in the country.
And another sight hound with a very powerful nose. Here is the Basset Hound. They have that long, low build, but they are heavily boned, robustly built. There's a lot of dog here, even with those short little legs. They have those long ears and that loose skin, and that helps them trap the scent so that they can track it for as long as they need to, Kelly.
And that is Toby, 5 years old, from Virginia.
The Portuguese Parengo Pequeno is up next in the hound group as we work our way through some of the smaller breeds here in the hound group. And the Parengo is the smallest of this Parengo family of breeds. They're lively, always with those prick ears, agile and alert, bred to hunt rabbits in rocky terrain in Portugal. They come in 2 different coat types, a smooth coat and a rough coat that we see here.
Bill, so often show dogs begin their career in the ring as puppies, but that doesn't have to be the case. Cricket is an example of that. She's 5 now, didn't start showing until she was 3, but loved it right away.
Oh, that's excellent. And now we'll get to meet the Dachshunds in the hound group. Once again, a few varieties of Dachshund, and what separates these varieties is their coat type. The wire-haired Dachshund is up first, so you can see that wiry, rough textured coat here that covers the wire-haired Dachshund. Otherwise, the Dachshunds are all the same breed.
This is Reese, who is from West Fargo, North Dakota. Reese had a litter of puppies last November and was back in the ring competing within 3 months of whelping. Her first time back in the ring was Westminster, where she was awarded Select Female.
Here is the long-haired Dachshund, covered in that longer flowing coat. Dachshunds originated in Germany. They were bred to hunt game like badger and fox, so they are very tough for this little size. They also have very large teeth for their size, Kelly.
Yeah. So we get a look at Josh, 3 years old, from here in North Carolina, multiple specialty winner. Madeline Peterson on the other end of the lead.
And here is the smooth Dachshund. Dachshunds also come in 2 different sizes, but the sizes are all shown together. The wire-haired and the long-haired Dachshund that we saw were standard size, and then you see here the smooth Dachshund is a little smaller, and that's because this smooth Dachshund is a miniature size.
It's Buddy, who is 3 years old. And Buddy is our final dog to be shown in the Hound group.
Norbert D having a look at all the hounds lined back up for him. So we'll see if the American Foxhound or the 15-inch can repeat one of their hound group wins. Or do we have a new hound advance to best in show? And he is going right toward the American Foxhound George there, pulling him out for first. Putting the Afghan Hound in the second position. The Blue Tick Coonhound for third. And the Whippet in there for fourth. So George, the American Foxhound, wins the Hound group. Going to be back to compete for best in show a little bit later. We're about halfway through, 3 groups down, 4 more to go on our way to best in show. We'll step away here for a very quick break and be right back with the herding group.
Do 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 do.
George, the American Foxhound has already won 6 Best in Show titles this year. Will have a chance at number 7. The winner of the Hound group will be back for Best in Show in just a few minutes, but we pivot from the Hounds to the breed winners from the herding group.
These are the herding breeds that were originally bred to gather, move, and control livestock. They had to work in varied terrain, different working conditions. Sometimes they had to drive cattle for long distances. Sometimes they had to help control the flocks along rugged hillsides. They have incredible instincts. They are so trainable, so smart, which is why they are ready to do just about any job. They make excellent police and military working dogs, search and rescue dogs, guide dogs, just anything you can think of. Patty Whittick-Neal is going to judge the herding group today.
Belgian Sheepdog took this group on Thursday. At yesterday's show, it was the Cardigan Welsh Corgi.
And we're going to start here with the German Shepherd dog. The German Shepherd dog, incredibly versatile breed. As a herding breed, they really act as sort of a moving fence. They are one of the breeds that really excel in those other jobs that I mentioned: police and military work, guide dogs, search and rescue dogs.
German Shepherd dog took group 3 on Thursday.
Here is the Belgian Sheepdog. Of the Belgian herding breeds, I'd say the easiest way to tell them apart is their different coat types. The Belgian Sheepdog is always solid black color with the longer coat. Kelly, you mentioned at the start of this group, the Belgian Sheepdog has already won a group so far this weekend.
The Belgian Sheepdog is ranked 4th in the herding group.
Here's a good look at the Bouvier de Flandre, covered in that rough, shaggy coat that helped protect them from the inclement weather and the conditions where the Bouvier had to work. These are true kind of all-purpose utility farm dogs. They would drive cattle, pull carts, help guard the farmyard. Underneath that coat, they are strong and powerfully built.
The breed, as mentioned, developed in Belgium as an all-purpose farm dog, was revived after World War I by Captain Barbie's dog, Nick, to whom most European pedigrees can be traced.
Here's a nice look at the Briard, ancient French herding breed. There are French tapestries that date back to the 8th century that depict the Briard, closely related to the Beauceron, another French herding breed that's shown in the herding group.
From Bee's Knees and the registered name, we get Bumble. She's 4 years old, from Monticello, Georgia. And it's been a clean sweep at the specialties this year for Bumble, who won her national specialty and each of the specialties leading up to it.
And here is the Beauceron, another French herding breed, like I mentioned, closely related to the Briard. The Beauceron had to work on very large herds of sheep, 200 to 300 sheep at a time. They would move them from field to field, and then they would also be expected to protect them from predators, Kelly.
Roman is a year and a half old. And Roman's owner, he is her first ever show dog. She tells us she's been loving to learn right along with him.
Here is the very recognizable rough collie. 2 collie varieties are shown in the herding group. They're exactly the same breed. The only difference is their coat types. The rough collie is covered in this dense, profuse double coat. Of course, they have that hallmark wedge-shaped head, that very soft expression. They should be elegant, gentle, and graceful in appearance.
Tim Tam is 4 years old from Spruce Pine, North Carolina. He lives with 2 Great Pyrenees, a cat, sheep, and chickens. He loves herding, naturally, and trying out lots of different sports as well.
Here is a look at the Australian Shepherd, a breed that was actually developed here in this country using dogs that made their way to this country through Australia, but they were brought to Australia by the Basque Shepherds from Spain. They are very versatile, known as ranch dogs in the western part of this country, energetic and agile. They were bred to work long hours in very close partnership with their handlers. And here is another one of those Belgian herding breeds, this time the Belgian Tervuren. The Belgian Tervuren gets its name from the Belgian village where this breed was developed. And this Belgian breed always has that longer double coat that's fawn to mahogany in color with the black overlay and the black mask.
For Malaya Stoll, this is her first show dog. It's Mackay, 6 years old from Shelby, North Carolina. Breed winner in Westminster 2 years ago. Currently the number 3 ranked Tervuren in the country.
The Border Collie is one of the true workhorses in this herding group. They are unbelievably smart and trainable. Their instincts as a herding breed are really amazing. They are so highly intelligent, so much drive. This breed really needs a job to do, as is the case for most of the breeds in this group. But Border Collies, Kelly, as you know, really thrive when they have a job to do.
It's mesmerizing to watch the elite Border Collies compete in agility. This is Ricky. Tugging at My Heart is in his registered name. From Ohio, multiple group winner, and shown by breeder owner handler Tara Majors.
And here is the Smooth Collie. So we saw the Rough Collie a few moments ago. Here is the Smooth Collie. Exactly the same breed. The Smooth Collie just has this shorter, flat-fitting coat, kind of what the Rough Collie would look like underneath all of their beautiful double coat. Same elegant appearance and wedge-shaped head that you see there, Kelly.
This is Audrey, who went Group 3 yesterday. 3.5 years old, from here in North Carolina. Two-time Collie Club of America Award of Merit winner. Lori Montero telling us that Audrey never meets a stranger, and her tail wags all the time.
The Canaan dog is up next. Dog of the Israelites, an ancient breed. The Canaan dog actually lived undomesticated for hundreds of years, and then they were re-domesticated in the 20th century as the Israelis prepared to fight for their independence, Kelly.
Breeder, owner, handler Brittany Cipriati is showing us Zara, 4.5 years old, from Virginia Beach. Had a huge day today, winning owner-handled reserve best in show.
And here is the Old English Sheepdog. The Old English Sheepdog can be traced back to the early 19th century. They were used as a drover. They have that incredible coat, softer, plush undercoat, and then that an outer coat that has a little more texture to it. But that coat really helped protect the breed when they were out doing their herding work.
The Old English Sheepdog was first shown in 1873 and swiftly became a popular show dog. And in the U.S., shown at early dog shows by prominent society figures such as the Vanderbilts, Morgans, and Guggenheim families.
Next up is the Polish Lowland Sheepdog. Covered once again in that very shaggy coat like we talk about so often, very deliberate to protect the Polish Lowland Sheepdog from the wind and rain while they were out doing their herding work, as well as being a flock guardian.
Rose was a national specialty winner this year. Also was claimed a regional specialty title. Best of opposite sex at Westminster this year. And Rose, we're told, has a distinct grin when being photographed for all of her wins.
Oh, I love that. Now I want to see it.
Yeah.
Here's the Australian cattle dog. Bred to work on the large, vast ranches in the Australian outback and be a tireless worker with a strong work drive to be able to work on those ranches all day in the heat of the Australian outback.
From Copperhead Road at Star Ranch in the registered name, we get Snake. He's 3 years old, from South Carolina, handled by Mary Roddy.
And there are a few different herding breeds that were developed in Hungary. The Moody is one of them. We also have the Puli and the Pumi. But the Moody is a medium-sized herding dog that's existed since the 19th century. Very versatile. Worked on sheep, cattle, and also served as a watchdog on Hungarian farms. The Puli and the Pumi were used in the development of the Moody, along with some German Spitz-type breeds, which is where you see some of those other characteristics. And here's the miniature American Shepherd. Bred down from the Australian Shepherd to be this smaller size. The miniature American Shepherd was developed in California in the 1960s to work on smaller stock, Kelly.
And this is the third ranked herding dog in the U.S. This mini American Shepherd is named Sawyer. Sawyer already has a couple of best in shows this year. Nearly had a chance. It won yesterday, finished Group 2 behind the Cardigan Welsh Corgi.
Next up is the Pyrenean Shepherd. This breed worked in the Pyrenees Mountains between France and Spain. A traditional working companion of the larger Great Pyrenees. The Great Pyrenees was the guardian breed that would guard the flock, and the Pyrenean Shepherd would come along to do the herding work. Very quick-footed, agile. They bond very strongly with their families, Kelly.
So this is Bruce, already 63 times best of breed this year. Bruce is 8 years old, from Davenport, Florida. Shown to us by his handler, and Bill, Bruce has been, by his breeder, Bruce has been the #1 Pyrenean Shepherd in the country since 2021.
Wow. Great record. Next up is the Shetland Sheepdog. Developed in the Shetland Islands. They come from the same herding stock as the Collie, but they were bred down to be this smaller size to specifically for the Shetland Islands, and given the limited resources on those smaller islands. Another herding breed, incredibly agile and quick, so smart, so trainable. They have so much drive.
Another breed that is a force in agility competitions. This is Opal. She's 4 years old, from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
And we've got a couple of corgis that we're going to meet here in the herding group. Here is the Cardigan Welsh Corgi, the larger of the two corgi breeds. The Cardigan also has a different shape to their ear, slightly different shape to their front legs, and of course they're the corgi with the tail. And the Cardigan Welsh Corgi has already been a group winner this weekend here in North Carolina, Kelly.
Yeah, took a Group 1 yesterday, did Mookie, who you see here. And Mookie is not only the top Cardigan Welsh Corgi in the country, but a top 10 herding dog in the U.S., currently ranked 8th, with 1 best in show this year and 10 group wins.
And here is a look at the Swedish Valhund. A very old Spitz-type breed. They've been known since the time of the Vikings. They're small but very powerful and sturdily built, and they have these characteristic harness markings. If you can get a look at the Swedish Valhund from the side, you'll see they have markings that almost look like they're wearing a harness.
It's such a sweet story of these two. Famous Amos, the Swedish Valhund, and owner handler Amanda Yoakum. Amanda tells us that Amos saved her life by giving her a reason to live after a life-changing accident. She said, "He is so much more to me than just a dog."
Oh, that's amazing. Our dogs do so much for us. And here is the other Corgi in the herding group. This is the Pembroke Welsh Corgi. Slightly smaller than the Cardigan Welsh Corgi. Pembrokes have a foxy expression. Of course, they are the Corgi without a tail. Smaller, but an energetic herding breed. They were drovers. They would help drive the cattle to market. Working as heelers, they would nip at the heels of the cattle while staying low enough to dodge any kicks.
Get a look at Sky, who is 2 years old, from North Carolina. Did very well at the Pembroke Welsh Corgi Nationals this year.
Patty Whittick-Neal is just going to have this group stay in and just kind of bunch together, give her as much room as possible. And she's going to ask them to go around the ring one at a time so that she can see each of these herding dogs on the move from the side again. So important in any breed, but particularly these herding breeds. You want to see how they move, kind of picture them out working, doing the job that they were bred to do. Their foot timing, do they hold their shape when they're on their move? Does it look like they could be out doing the herding work that they were bred to do? And you'll often see the Border Collie here is a good example. Not all of the herding breeds do it, but many do. They'll sort of drop their head slightly. Is a way in which they help control the livestock. But like we've said, there are many different styles and jobs that these herding dogs had to do. Not only were they controlling livestock just out in the field, some of them were helping drive them to market. Some of them were expected to stay out and protect the livestock.
And perhaps more than any other group, certainly of the past 2 days, this one has been wide open as far as who will see place within the group and then eventually advance to best in show. The top three finishers on Thursday, the Belgian Sheepdog, the Rough Collie, the German Shepherd. And on Friday, the Cardigan Welsh Corgi, the Mini American Shepherd, and the Smooth Collie.
All right, let's see who caught Patty Whittick-Neal's eye. The Cardigan Welsh Corgi is pulled out first. The miniature American Shepherd in there for second. The Shetland Sheepdog and the Belgian Sheepdog for fourth. So the Cardigan Welsh Corgi does repeat. Kelly going to get another chance to try for best in show. We're going to take a quick break here. And we're going to get the non-sporting group ready to go, and we will be right back.
Do 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 do
Soon we will fill out our lineup of 7 dogs to compete for Best in Show. We already have 4 group winners. 3 of them have competed at Best in Show already as part of this cluster in Greensboro, North Carolina this week, and that includes Mookie, the Cardigan Welsh Corgi, who just took Group 1 in the herding group. Next, we will find a winner from these breed winners in the non-sporting group.
So, Kelly, when the American Kennel Club first recognized breeds, they were classified as either sporting or non-sporting. Since then, of course, we have added so many more breeds, over 200 now. And so the other groups were created and formed for those other breeds. And so the non-sporting group here became a bit of a catch-all. These breeds don't really share one common characteristic other than they can all be wonderful companions in the right setting. This group is incredibly diverse. Our judge there is Benson Ray. He judged the toy group earlier, back to judge the non-sporting group. These breeds come from all different parts of the world, different sizes, different shapes, different coat types, different personalities, popular, well-known breeds like the French Bulldog, Poodle, to rare, very rare and unknown breeds. We've got it all here in the non-sporting group. And we are going to start here with the standard poodle, who is the largest of the poodle varieties. Remember, we saw the toy poodle in the toy group. We've got the standard and the miniature sized poodles here in the non-sporting group. Standard poodle is always taller than 15 inches. Definitely bred originally as a water retriever. And of course, they have that beautiful grooming job and clip that we see where the hair was clipped off to allow them to move more freely in the water and left over their joints and vital organs.
This is Stassi, 2 years old. She's from New York City. Poodle Club of America Best of Variety this year.
And here is the Dalmatian. Those spots, of course, are so recognizable on the coat of the Dalmatian. They come in black and in liver like we see here.
This is Scooby-Doo, 2 years old, from Jonesboro, Tennessee. His puppy name was Scooby-Doo, and it just kind of stuck.
That happens sometimes. They get a silly puppy name, and all of a sudden, it just sticks. Here is the Xoloides Quintly, an ancient breed from Mexico. It's one of the world's oldest breeds. They come in 3 different sizes that are all shown together: toy, miniature, and standard. This is the largest standard size. Of course, known for being hairless.
Nina is 2 years old, from San Juan, Puerto Rico, in the ring with Erica Lanassa. Nina is a multiple group winner, and when back home in San Juan, loves to go swimming in the ocean.
It's a good thing to love if you're from a place like Puerto Rico.
Absolutely.
Here is the Chinese Shar-Pei, an ancient Chinese breed. The Shar-Pei is covered in that loose skin that forms those wrinkles, and they have a very unique coat texture as well. It's sort of like a sandpaper texture, much rougher than other breeds.
This is Pei, who won the group yesterday, finished ahead of a French Bulldog who we will see in a minute. Pei is the number 2 Chinese Shar-Pei in the country, but the number 13 non-sporting dog in the U.S. so far this year.
And the Chow Chow here is another ancient breed from China. The Chow Chow was bred in northern China more than 2,000 years ago, and they had to hunt, herd, and protect the home. A very serious and dignified breed. The Shar-Pei, who we saw a moment ago, and the Chow Chow are the two breeds that have to have a solid blue-black tongue. They can be a bit aloof with strangers. They bond very strongly with their families.
Chows became popular in Victorian England and first shown in America in 1890. Gained its AKC recognition just after the turn of the century.
And here is the miniature poodle. The miniature poodle is 10 to 15 inches tall. Otherwise, they are exactly the same breed as the standard poodle that we saw earlier in this group and the toy poodle that we saw in the toy group, Kelly.
Yeah. This is Bon, 16 months old, from Bakersville, North Carolina. Multiple group placements for Bon.
And here is the Shiba Inu, incredibly popular companion breed in their native Japan. Known for being somewhat independent, very cat-like and fastidious. Very adaptable breed, has made them popular in lots of different settings, like apartments and urban settings, Kelly.
Yeah, and you mentioned their independence. That was something that was intentionally bred into the Shiba Inu. The Shiba Inu was bred to hunt independently, so unlike many breeds, they weren't developed to constantly look to humans for direction. That was Enzo, 2 years old, from Charlotte.
And the Bichon Frise is up next, developed in the Mediterranean area, covered in that white powder puff coat. This breed is full of personality. They are small but sturdily built, should have a merry temperament, very inquisitive expression with those dark eyes.
Always white. Small amounts of cream or apricot shading is permitted in competition.
And the Skipper Key is up next here in the non-sporting group. Skipper Key actually translates to little captain in Flemish. They were popular companions on the canal boats. They served as guardians, watchdogs. They should have a fox-like expression, thick-set, compact body. So smart, so trainable, and also very long-lived. They would patrol the canal boats and the workshops, as well as the decks and the docks in Belgium. And here is the Lhasa Apso, one of the breeds here in the non-sporting group that originated in the area of Tibet. Of course, in that part of the world, there are huge mountains and deep valleys, which makes for intense cold and heat. And so the Lhasa Apso is covered in that heavy coat, which not only keeps them warm, but also helps protect them from the extreme heat as well, Kelly.
Yeah. This is Hatter, 5 years old, just starting his show career. But does have a group win and multiple specialty wins as well.
Lhasas were kept as special guards inside of the monasteries because of their intelligence and acute hearing. As we move on here to the Boston Terrier, developed exclusively here in this country. Boston Terriers always have markings very similar to what we see here, always white in combination with a darker color that give them that tuxedo appearance. They're really known for their fun-loving, dignified, gentleman-like temperament, which has made them popular companions.
Back in the 19th century, breeders originally sought to have this breed recognized as the American Bull Terrier, but then they regrouped as the Boston Terrier Club of America in 1891.
Next up is the French Bulldog, bred truly as a companion breed. Great little watchdogs, but they are friendly, playful. French Bulldogs should have those distinctive bat ears that you see there. Excellent for smaller settings. So it's one of the reasons why this breed has become so popular, Kelly. They're just so adaptable to a number of different living situations.
Hudson is the highest ranked non-sporting dog in the country that doesn't yet have a Best in Show title this year. Currently ranked 9th among all non-sporting dogs and oh so close to reaching Best in Show each of the past 2 days with consecutive Group 2s.
Another one of the breeds here in the non-sporting group that originated in the area of Tibet is the Tibetan Spaniel. This breed has existed for thousands of years in Tibet. And they hold a very important position in the culture there. You would often find Tibetan Spaniels perched on the monastery walls, acting as lookouts over the valleys.
Five-star recruit, the registered name for Player, who is 2 years old from Cary, North Carolina. A fast cat champion already.
And here is the Bulldog. Known for their muscular build. They should have that broad chest, wrinkled face. Originally bred in England for bull baiting, but now they are calm, affectionate, loyal companions.
Two years old from Bedford, Virginia. This is Salil with Ashley Stoll.
Bulldogs have been a consistently popular breed in AKC registration for a long time.
Currently the 10th most popular dog in the country.
Benson Ray was very decisive when he judged the toy group earlier, went right to his winners, and it looks like he is going to do the same here as he pulls the French Bulldog out first, followed by the Boston Terrier, the Lhasa Apso, and the Sholo Eats Quintley in there for fourth. So there you have it, Kelly. The French Bulldog will get an opportunity to try for Best in Show today. As we get closer and closer to Best in Show, just two more groups to enjoy on our way. We're going to step away for a quick break here and be right back with the working group.
Do 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 do
We've got two groups and Best in Show still to go from the Caroline Kennel Club, part of this 4-day cluster of all breed shows in Greensboro, North Carolina. Each of the past 2 days, the Greater Hickory Kennel Club hosted the all breed shows. The French Bulldog is the most popular dog in the country, and for all you Frenchy fans, we will see Hudson compete for Best in Show, winner of the non-sporting group just a few minutes ago. Bill, next we have the working group, and then we will finish with the Terriers.
Yeah, these large working breeds were really developed and bred to perform a number of different essential tasks that supported humans in different ways. They were bred for strength, endurance, intelligence, and courage. Some of these breeds had to pull carts and sleds. Some had to guard property and guard livestock. Some of them had to aid in rescue work. They come from different parts of the world, had to work in different conditions. Many of these, we have a few ancient breeds in this working group that were used in the development of some other breeds in this group. And we will start with the tallest of the working breeds. That's, of course, the Great Dane. The Great Dane was developed in Germany, not in Denmark. I'm not really sure why they became known as the Great Dane. This German breed was developed to hunt some large game originally. They were used as boar hunting dogs, so it required great strength, agility, and a fearless temperament, Kelly. But of course, now they're just big, wonderful, goofy family companions that are probably going to try and make themselves lap dogs.
For sure. We saw a Great Dane, a male Great Dane, finish Group 3 on Thursday. Different breed winner today, a female. This is Caper, almost 2 years old, from Virginia. And out there with a very talented owner-handler, Junior Kylie Scott.
The Bull Mastiff was developed, I bet you can guess, using a combination of the Bulldog and the Mastiff. And they were developed back in the 19th century to work alongside the gamekeepers on the large English hunting estates to discourage poachers. They needed a breed that would be strong and large and powerful, but also agile and quick on their feet, Kelly.
And here we have Keanu for Keanu Reeves, 3 years old, from Tampa, Florida. Oh, content telling us that Keanu is the biggest goofball. Loves to play with all of his friends, especially with his cats at home. Unfortunately, they don't share the same enthusiasm for it. Usually
like a true cat.
Yeah.
The boxer here is a medium-sized, squarely built working breed. Another working breed that was developed in Germany. They had to hunt boar and other large game, but they are really known for their playful spirit and that very expressive face, Kelly.
And that boxer is Gary Cooper, 2 years old, from Atlanta, handled by Rick Justice. Gary Cooper, the 4th-ranked boxer in the country, but just really started his campaign not too long ago. Now, Gary Cooper's mother actually won the American Boxer Club of the Year several years back.
Here's a look at the Doberman Pinscher, yet another working breed that was developed in Germany. Medium size, squarely built, should be heavy boned, incredibly intelligent, trainable, so alert, so attentive, kind of almost like they're trying to think one step ahead of you at all times.
Remy is the 2nd-ranked working dog in the U.S. Already 8 best in show titles. That was through the end of July. Only 2.5 years old. Originally from San Diego, California.
Next up is the Dogo Argentino. Developed in Argentina. The Dogo is always this solid white color. A little bit of color on their head is permissible. They can have a patch around one eye. They're a pack hunting dog. They would go after large game like puma. They had to cover incredible amounts of land run for miles and then conserve enough energy to have the stamina necessary to catch and physically hold down the game that they were after.
Ace is always exclusively owner handled by Dan Reevy and loves running Fast Cat.
And here is a look at the Newfoundland, developed in Canada as a working water dog, used by fishermen to haul nets, retrieve objects, and of course perform those amazing water rescues. They are such powerful swimmers, heavy boned with that heavy oily coat, Kelly.
Grit is 2 years old from Georgia. Courtney Penner tells us that Grit is a true lap dog. You have to have a sturdy lap to be able to handle that.
Next up is the Greater Swiss Mountain Dog, one of the Swiss Mountain breeds. All the Swiss Mountain breeds share this same tricolor pattern where they're primarily black with the white and tan points, Kelly.
From Never Say Uncle in the register name, this is Uncle. He's 2 years old from Philadelphia, Tennessee. Crystal Brooks is the handler.
And we mentioned the Great Pyrenees during the herding group when we saw the Pyrenean Shepherd and talked about this breed working in the Pyrenean Mountains as well as the flock guardian. Very independent, very calm, very noble breed, Kelly.
Lyra is 2 years old from Goldsboro, North Carolina. Shown to us by Adina Hood, who is the breeder owner handler. Took the puppy prize at the Great Pyrenees Club of America National Specialty at just 10 months old.
Oh, nice. Here's a look at the Bernese Mountain Dog, another one of the Swiss Mountain breeds, like I mentioned when we saw the Greater Swiss Mountain Dog. The Bernese Mountain Dog, bit of an all-purpose farm dog doing a number of different jobs for their owners, Kelly.
This is Billy. She is 2 years old from Bowling Green, Kentucky. The top female Bernese Mountain Dog in the U.S., multiple best in specialties.
The Anatolian Shepherd Dog here was developed in Turkey as a livestock guardian. They are very independent. They were bred to work independently and protect the herds from wolves, bears, and thieves. So they are really formidable guardians, Kelly.
Ricky is the number one Anatolian Shepherd dog in the country, has 3 times as many points as number 2 on that list. 4 years old from Brooksville, Florida, was also the top rated Anatolian last year as well.
Here's the Portuguese water dog, more of a medium-sized working breed. The Portuguese water dog helped the fishermen in Portugal. They did a variety of jobs for them. They would help retrieve lost tackle, help them with their nets, even deliver messages in between boats. They are excellent swimmers, full of energy, very strong working drive.
The Portuguese water dog has finished Group 2 each of the 2 days so far here at this cluster, behind the Doberman Pinscher on Thursday and the Cane Corso yesterday.
And here is the Cane Corso. Large, powerful, muscular. This Italian breed is a formidable guardian breed. They served as property guardians, farm workers, and also had to hunt some large game, Kelly.
Yeah, and again, took that Group 1 yesterday, finishing ahead of the Portuguese water dog. Savio is 2 years old from Sunbury, Ohio. In the ring with breeder, owner, handler Dave Musto. Savio is the #1 Cane Corso in the country and a national specialty winner this year.
Here's a look at the Siberian Husky. Developed as a sled dog, really to be the premier kind of racing sled dog, capable of going very, very long distances with great efficiency and speed. They have incredible endurance, Kelly.
100% owner handled in the ring with Ricky Silveria. This is Destiny, 3 years old from South Carolina.
The Leon Burger here is another one of the large working breeds. Developed in Germany as a multi-purpose working farm dog, but what makes the Leon Burger really unique for their large size is that they are gentle and calm, but very agile when they move. For their large size, they should move with kind of a grace and a lightness.
This is Chi-Chi, 4 years old, with breeder, owner, handler Susan Townsend.
Next up is the Rottweiler. Developed in southern Germany. The Rottweiler is another working breed that performed a number of different tasks. They were butchers' dogs. They would help drive cattle, even guard the money.
World's greatest swordsman, the registered name for Zorro, of course. 17 months old, lives in Kingsport, Tennessee, with Brianne Ordos, who tells us that Zorro loves playing tug of war with their Swedish Valhund.
Here is a look at the giant Schnauzer. The giant Schnauzer is the largest of the 3 Schnauzer breeds that are all distinct breeds. The giant Schnauzer was bred up to be this larger size, to be a cattle driver and farm dog as well. Highly intelligent, so trainable.
Margot is a top 5 giant Schnauzer in the country. She's 3 years old from Wellington, Florida. A reserve Best in Show winner. 3 Group 1s this year, looking for that first Best in Show.
That beautiful white coat there belongs to the Samied, originating among the nomadic people of Siberia. The Samied, once again, did a few different jobs. They would pull sleds, herd reindeer, and help keep their families warm at night. They have a friendly, very social nature. There's a good look at that Sammy smile. Corners of their mouths turn up just slightly to help prevent icicles from forming. And a moment ago, we met the giant Schnauzer. Here is the standard Schnauzer, the prototype for the Schnauzer breeds. A multi-purpose farm worker that would help guard the home and the farm, do some herding work, also used as ratters, known for being intelligent and spirited and very trainable, Kelly.
Joy Roth is the breeder and also handler of Rhett, 3 years old from Summerfield, North Carolina.
Patty Whittick Neal giving these working dogs one more quick look, and then she'll keep them all in. Oh, no, she will not have them go around. Excuse me. Going right to the Doberman Pinscher, followed by the Boxer for second. So the Doberman Pinscher is going to get another chance to try for Best in Show, Kelly. Third to the Cane Corso, fourth to the Siberian Husky. Just one more group to go on our way to Best in Show. Step away here for a quick break, and we will be right back with the Terrier group.
Do 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 do.
Six groups down, one to go on our way toward Best in Show. We have 6 Best in Show candidates ready. Bill, the last spot is going to go to the top Terrier.
And these Terrier breeds consist of breeds that mostly were developed across the British Isles, save for a few exceptions. They were developed to hunt and eliminate vermin. They helped protect the farms. They, in most cases, had to work in very tight, challenging environments. And so they were bred to be bold and tenacious. They are very quick thinking, capable of going to ground after foxes and badgers, and then help patrol the barns and the fields for rats. They don't generally get the opportunity to do many of those jobs now, but they still retain all of those spirited personality traits. There is our judge for the Terrier group, David Kirkland. An initial look at the lineup in this Terrier group. All these dogs judged earlier in their breed competition, awarded best of breed, advancing to the group. And we will start with the largest Terrier breed. This is the Airedale Terrier. They get their name because they were developed near the Aire River, which is found in Yorkshire, England. Often called the king of terriers because they are the largest of the terrier breeds.
Breeder owner handler Nancy Nykamp is showing us Penny. And she says of the breed, they can do everything and do it well. They epitomize versatility.
Well said. They were expected to perform a wide range of different field work jobs, hunting, fox, badger, otters. They were expected to be ratters. They have a strong scenting ability and great stamina as well. And here is the American Staffordshire Terrier. This terrier breed really combines the spirit and tenacity of the early terriers with the determination of the bulldog breed that was also used to develop the American Staffordshire Terrier. Originally used for farm work, guarding property, and later as a companion breed. They bond very strongly with their families, wonderful companions.
We met a Rottweiler named Zorro a few minutes ago. This is Zorro the Amstaff, 3 years old from Richmond, Virginia, the #1 American Staffordshire Terrier in the country. His father, Trouble, was a Hall of Fame American Staffordshire.
It's a nice look here at the Bull Terrier with that very distinctive shaped head. It's an egg-shaped head. You can see there that curve shape from the top of their skull to the tip of their nose.
This is Forrest, 4 years old from Tennessee. Forrest is the first Platinum Grand Champion in breed history.
And we will meet a few terrier breeds that were developed in Ireland. The Kerry Blue Terrier is one of them, developed in County Kerry. Kerry Blue Terriers are born much darker, and then they gradually develop this blue color by the time they're 18 months old, Kelly.
And this is Della, 3 years old from Greensboro, North Carolina. Best of breed at Westminster this year. Della's owner telling us Kerry Blues are a wonderful breed. They are clowns full of Irish blarney.
Here is the Irish Terrier. Irish Terriers are always this rich, solid red color that we see here. They should be very well balanced and symmetrical. One of the oldest terrier breeds. They worked as all-purpose farm dogs, as well as versatile hunters used to control vermin, flush out the fox.
Always whole colored in bright red, golden red, red Wheaton, or Wheaton.
Here's a nice look at the Bedlington Terrier. The Bedlington has a kind of a deceivingly delicate appearance at first glance, but they are tough and athletic little hunters. So you can't let that lamb-like appearance fool you. They have a little bit of sight hound in their ancestry, which is where they get that in a curvature over their back. But they are very fast, adept at chasing quarry across the fields, and then also being able to get into those tight spaces, Kelly.
Rain is the only Bedlington Terrier to win an all-breed best in show this year, and Rain has done it 3 times. 5 years old from Georgia, the top Bedlington in the country, and currently ranked 11th among all terriers.
Next up here is the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Developed in Staffordshire, England. They're compact, muscular, developed by the coal miners in that region.
This is Martini, 15 months old. She's from Woodford, Virginia. Recently finished her championship.
Next up, we'll get to meet the Parson Russell Terrier. Developed in England nearly 200 years ago, specifically for fox hunting. Parson Russells would follow the foxhounds, and then they would go into the fox dens to bolt the fox when the foxhounds could no longer continue after the fox. So they have this narrow chest that allows them to squeeze underground, Kelly, and then maneuver themselves back out.
Lulu has won the breed back-to-back days. Yesterday, her son won Best of Opposites.
Nicely done. Keeping it all in the family. Here's a look at the Rat Terrier. This is an American breed that was developed for farm work and vermin control. Known for being agile, intelligent, and very quick learners, Kelly.
And this is Russell, the Rat Terrier, 2 years old from Virginia. Russell's owner telling us the breed loves to do everything.
And there are 2 distinct fox terrier breeds in the terrier group, the wire and the smooth fox terrier. The smooth fox terrier has that smooth, flat-fitting coat. One of the oldest terrier breeds. They were developed in England to work alongside the foxhounds, helping to bolt the fox from their dens during the fox hunt.
Pepper is 3 years old from Potomac Falls, Virginia. A Best in Show winner, multiple group winner. Had a litter back in March, took 4 months off to raise her puppies, and is super excited to be back doing what she loves to do.
Nice. Well done. The Border Terrier here gets their name because the breed was developed near the border between England and Scotland, known for being a rugged, hard-working terrier breed, another breed that would help the farmers by hunting fox. known for that otter head. Get a good look at it there, Kelly, kind of resembling an otter.
Zoe is from Oberlin, Ohio, the #1 border terrier female in the country. Best of breed at Montgomery last year.
And here is a look at the Lakeland Terrier, originating in the Lake District of Northern England. The Lakeland Terrier should be compact, sturdy, and have that sort of classic terrier drive and endurance. This breed had to pursue foxes across the hillsides and into the den. So once again, they had to be able to use their size to get into some tight spaces and maneuver themselves back out.
Karma is 2.5 years old and very well traveled. She was born in Phoenix, Arizona, then went to live in Denmark until she recently came back this past winter to be shown in the U.S.
The Cairn Terrier is one of the working terrier breeds that originated in Scotland, closely related to the Scottish Terrier, as well as the West Highland White Terrier. The Cairn was bred to hunt small game in the Scottish Highlands, and they're named for the stone cairns that would be found across that landscape. And the cairns would have to go into those kind of rocky areas to flush out the rats and foxes and other pests. So they would have to squeeze into very narrow crevices and maneuver themselves underground.
Ryan's 2.5 years old from Fort Lauderdale with breeder owner handler Nikki Higgins, the #1 Cairn in the U.S. Multiple group placements this year, including a Group 1.
The Sealyham Terrier here was developed in Wales. Captain John Edwards is really credited with developing this breed on his estate, which was named Sealyham. So that is where the breed gets its name. But they had to hunt some fierce game like badger, fox, and even otter, Kelly.
And this is Falcor, who has placed Group 3 each of the past 2 days. Multiple Best in Show winning dog. Named after the friendly white dragon in the movie The Never-Ending Story. Because, well, they kind of look alike.
Next up is the West Highland White Terrier. Like I mentioned when we met the Cairn a few moments ago, this is one of the working terrier breeds from Scotland. The Westie is closely related to this Cairn and the Scottish Terrier. Bred to be this bright white color so that they would be easily spotted out in the rugged terrain. In addition to that wiry protective coat, they have a very thick hide to help protect them when they were working in that rugged environment.
We saw the Sealyham just a second ago, which can be white with lemon, tan, badger-colored markings on the head or ears, not the Westie. White and all white through and through.
That's right. Here is the standard size Manchester Terrier. We saw the smaller toy size in the toy group. It's a very sleek, elegant breed. Always that black and tan color pattern, but this is really the premier rat hunter and catcher, Kelly.
Lupo finished his bronze championship today. 2 years old from Florida. Emma Lloyd tells us of the breed, very versatile. They do well in all types of sports and love being on the couch for a good snuggle.
Here is Australia's contribution to the Terrier group. The Australian Terrier was developed in the Australian outback, and they were expected to perform kind of the traditional vermin control terrier task, but they were also watchdogs, livestock helpers, and Kelly, they even had to hunt some snakes.
Oh, my. No thanks. This is Beth Dutton. She's 2 years old from Mount Olive, Florida.
You get to meet the Welsh Terrier next up in the Terrier group here. Very sturdily built. The Welsh Terrier was another terrier breed that had to go after some pretty tough vermin and other quarry like fox, otter, and badger. So they're very, very determined workers. One of Britain's oldest terrier breeds. And here is the Scottish Terrier. We've mentioned it a few times, being closely related to the Cairn and the West Highland White Terrier. Scottish Terrier is one of Scotland's oldest breeds. Of course, they have that bushy beard and mustache, eyebrows that make them very recognizable, Kelly.
And this is Ozzy, 4 years old, from Greenville, South Carolina, with breeder owner handler Carrie Hill, who tells us that Ozzy loves to sit on the bar stool at their favorite tap room. Shout out to Piney Mountain Bike Lounge.
Oh, nice. I'm sure he is the most popular attraction there. If not, he should be. Next up is the Dandy Dinmont Terrier. Distinctive, charming terrier breed from Scotland, known for their long body, large head, and that silky top knot of hair. The coat on the Dandy Dinmont is a wiry, coarse textured coat, like along their back and down their sides, and then the top knot on top of their head and some of the hair coat on their legs is much softer in texture.
Drama is her name, short for Dramatic Pause. 10 months old. In fact, this is only the third show ever for Drama, and she's won all of her points by beating her mother.
Oh, I wonder how Mom feels about that.
Yeah.
Probably just fine about it. Here is the American Hairless Terrier. Developed from the Rat Terrier. The American Hairless Terrier is sleek, athletic, agile, very eager to please little breed, developed primarily for vermin control and hunting rats and mice in urban and in rural environments, Kelly.
This is Yeza, who is a service dog. And Eliza Stollery telling us that she'd been on bed rest for weeks leading up to the show and was worried that Yeza wouldn't do well, but it's also only their second show, and she tells us how proud she is of Yeza.
Here's the Russell Terrier, closely related to the Parson Russell that we saw earlier, but the Russell Terrier was further developed in Australia to be shorter and more compact for hunting vermin in different terrain. Their small size helped them navigate even tighter tunnels and rocky burrows.
Nemo is his name, 2 years old from Pennsylvania. Krista O'Brien handling.
Here's the miniature Schnauzer. This is our judge, David Kirkland. This is his original breed. The miniature Schnauzer was developed in Germany. They were bred down to this smaller size from the standard Schnauzer to be a farm ratter as well as a little watchdog. They have that wiry, protective coat and a very fearless nature. Strong vermin hunting instincts and a very alert little breed, Kelly.
Only 3 miniature Schnauzers have won an all-breed Best in Show this year, and this is one of them. Gala is her name. Freddie Gausman handling. And Gala's connections telling us that one of our most unforgettable moments was winning that Best in Show. A very special milestone in Gala's career, and one they will always treasure.
And as we make our way toward the end of the terrier group here, some of the smaller terrier breeds like the Norwich Terrier. The Norwich Terrier has those distinctive prick ears and fox-like expression. They are one of the smallest working terrier breeds, hunting rats, rabbits, foxes on the farm, and they would usually do that in teams, Kelly.
Working by himself with Mariah Johnston is Carl, 4 years old from West Virginia, multiple group placements. Mariah telling us that Carl rarely stops wagging his tail because he just loves showing that much.
And here is the Norfolk Terrier. Closely related to the Norwich Terrier, but the Norfolk, of course, has those drop ears. They would hunt in a similar fashion, hunting vermin like rats and rabbits and fox, but similar to the Norwich, they would work in teams to cover the farms and the stables, and that small size allowed them to squeeze into tight spaces. And this Norfolk Terrier's already had a pretty good few days here in North Carolina, Kelly.
Yes, he has. This is your Best in Show winner from Thursday. And narrowly was top of the podium again yesterday, finishing reserve Best in Show to River the Gordon Setter. As we mentioned earlier in this show, it was the Gordon Setter that finished second to Rambo on Thursday. Rambo already has more than 10 Best in Show titles this year, a top 10 terrier dog. Currently ranked 6th among all terriers.
And so we'll see if David Kirkland sends him along to Best in Show to try again, or if perhaps another terrier caught his eye as he has another look down the line here. And he's going to just pull the Norfolk out, have him line up. Probably placing them in the order of his final order here. Comes the Border Terrier, followed by the Kerry Blue Terrier. And you've got the Sealyham in there for 4th. So the Norfolk Terrier Rambo, 3 terrier group wins so far this weekend. We'll get another shot, and we'll see if he can repeat his Best in Show win for the other day, because we have arrived at that moment. Best in Show is coming up next. We will step aside here for a quick break and be right back with Best in Show.
Do 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 do.
From 1,490 entries, we are down to our 7 group winners to compete for Best in Show at the Carolina Kennel Club. Part of this 4-day cluster in Greensboro, North Carolina, as we take a look at the group winners from throughout the afternoon. They include River the Gordon Setter, who won Best in Show here yesterday, as well as Rambo the Norfolk Terrier, who took Best in Show on Thursday and just earned his 3rd consecutive group win a few moments ago.
A very competitive lineup of 7 group winners, getting a chance to come into the Best in Show ring one at a time and make a lap around the ring. In addition to, of course, River, the top-ranked dog. Lots of other big winners here. You mentioned the Norfolk Terrier, who went Best in Show the other day. Kelly, one of the top-ranked terriers, ranked among the top 5 terriers. The Pug here, a multiple Best in Show winner. The American Foxhound, a top-ranked hound, but anybody's opportunity on a given day. Cindy Lane, going to judge Best in Show, telling the Gordon Setter to where she wants to get started as she just does a initial walk down the line here to see the 7 group winners who have made it to Best in Show. And we will get started here with the winner of the sporting group. This is the Gordon Setter. The Gordon Setter is the heaviest, the most substantial of the setter breeds. They had to hunt across some very rugged terrain in Scotland, so they needed all of that substance to be able to do that. They should have great stamina when they're out hunting. And like you mentioned, Kelly, this is the top-ranked dog in the country this year. Dominant year for this beautiful Gordon Setter. Over 60 Best in Show wins just this year, over 70 in his career, but amazing record.
Through the end of July, River had 107 Group 1s, which were converted into 63 Best in Show wins. That's just about 60% of the time River wins the group, he goes on to win Best in Show.
Yeah, that's a pretty remarkable record. Next up here is the Doberman Pinscher, who won the working group. The Doberman Pinscher was, of course, developed in Germany. Squarely built, heavy bone, muscular, should look like they were poured into their skin. And this dog was also had a pretty fantastic year, Kelly. This is the number 1 ranked Doberman Pinscher and the number 2 ranked working dog among all the working breeds.
Yeah, 8 Best in Shows through the end of July. Won his first 2 Best in Shows at just 17 months old. That was last year, and then it's just taken off this year. Second, as you mentioned, the working group behind only Jin, the Siberian Husky.
And here is the American Foxhound, George. Pretty perfect name for an American Foxhound with their history with George Washington. They were bred to hunt in packs. They had to cover large tracts of land with their hunters following them on horseback. Should be lighter and faster than the English foxhound. And of course, they had to work very cooperatively because they were in packs.
Only 3 years old, already a 2-time national specialty winner. The number 2 hound dog in the country. In points, trailing only Issy, who was able to hold off earlier today.
The Cardigan Welsh Corgi won the herding group today. His second group win in this cluster of shows here in North Carolina. The Cardigan is the older of the 2 Corgi breeds, and they've been known in Wales since 1200 BC. They should be robust and sturdy. They have that long body and short legs, but they have great herding instincts.
This is the number 8 herding dog in the country. Won Best in Show title already this year, coming from 10 group wins through the end of July. Obviously has added to that at this cluster, as you mentioned, Bill. Second time competing at Best in Show this week. Finished Group 1 yesterday.
And the Norfolk Terrier won the Terrier group just a few moments ago. Rambo had to turn around quickly to come back in here and compete for Best in Show with handler Ernesto Lara. A smaller Terrier breed. They were developed in England for vermin control, and even though they're smaller, they're still very sturdily built, spirited little workers. They would hunt above and below ground. They would often work in teams to cover the farm and the stable, going after rats, rabbit, foxes.
Terrier spirit.
All of that terrier spirit, but like that is something that you would expect to see, from these terriers, kind of on the tip of their toes.
Yeah. Not necessarily a bad thing in the show ring, right? Showing off the embodiment of the characteristics of the breed.
I would want to see all of those sort of terrier traits.
Yeah.
If I were judging any terrier breed. Here is the winner of the non-sporting group, the French Bulldog. Hudson here is a multiple specialty winner with his handler, Kathy Musto.
Finally broke through today after finishing runner-up in group each of the last 2 days. The second-ranked French Bulldog in the country, but a top 10 non-sporting dog. Looking for that first Best in Show. Hudson for Hudson River, New York State of Mind, the registered name for this not quite 2-year-old French Bulldog from Fallbrook, California.
And rounding out the best in show lineup is the winner of the toy group. The pug Rip won the toy group today. National specialty winner. Also was best of breed at the Westminster Kennel Club and went on to place third in the toy group there. The number 1 ranked pug in the country, and he's the top winning black pug in the history of the breed.
Oh, wow. Currently the 6th ranked toy dog in the U.S.
Cindy Lane has asked them to each go around the ring individually, one at a time. One more look at all of these beautiful group winners on the move.
There's Rambo, best in show on Thursday. And Rip the Pug, who finished ahead of the Chinese Crested today in the Affen picture to Group 3 after winning the toy group on Thursday and Friday.
And our judge, Cindy Lane, has made her decision. So she will go back to her judge's book that you see there and write down her choices for best in show and reserve best in show. She'll award reserve best in show first.
Usually, Bill, we don't have the camera quite this close. We can almost make out what she's signing.
Almost, but not quite. So reserve best in show first. So Rambo, the Norfolk Terrier, reserve best in show again today. He was reserve best in show yesterday and best in show on Thursday. And River, the Gordon setter again, Kelly, the country's top ranked dog. Another best in show win for this incredible Gordon setter and his amazing record.
And you said it, Bill. 1,500 dogs, and the result was almost a carbon copy from yesterday, at least when it comes to the top two prizes. Once again, Rambo Reserve Best in Show, just like Friday, and River the Gordon Setter. Now, with well over 60 Best in Show titles this year, continuing to pad his lead atop the rankings as the #1 dog in the country. What an outstanding day at the dog show it was from the Carolina Kennel Club All Breed Show. And if you missed a minute of today's show, we've got you. You can watch the show back at AKC TV or on YouTube. Well, that will wrap things up for us from Greensboro, North Carolina. So glad you're with us today. For Bill Ellis and our entire AKC TV crew, I'm Kelly O'Donnell saying so long from the Carolina Kennel Club All Breed Show.